Wow, we have made it all the way to the last weekend of dry January. I cannot believe how fast the time has gone by. I can't believe it's almost February. Has the time gone by fast for you, or does it seem like it's gone by really slow? Well, however it's gone by, we're not going to throw in the towel. We've got 5 days left if you're listening or watching to this in real time. 5 days left. And I know for a lot of you that the weekends, it's the hardest time to be alcohol free. At least I know for me, the weekends were definitely a hard time. And that's part of the reason why I would drink. Now, for some of you, I know that the playoffs are this weekend. In the United States, there's the NFL playoffs, and some of you are going to be having family and friends over and maybe going to a bar or a pub or something like that. Let's be prepared for that. Let's talk about that today before I share what I do to not drink on Sundays anymore. I want to share what my Sundays used to look like. Sundays were definitely my hardest days because I liked to drink and watch football, definitely on Sundays. And even when there wasn't football on, I was still drinking a lot. And partly a lot of the reasons for that was because I hated Mondays. I really despised Mondays. I hated going to my job. And the more that I realized that I hated my job, the more my Sundays were a big mess. And so I was using alcohol as a coping mechanism to help me cope with my stress and my anxiety of going to work on Monday and just really hating my job. The closer that it came to like the time where I quit my job, the heavier my drinking was because I was so unhappy. And so I would basically self medicate by drinking alcohol on Sundays. And and I used football partly as an excuse when football season was on. It was a reason to start drinking really early in the morning to get that buzz going. So I would start with a mimosa. Eventually, I would remove the orange juice out of the Prosecco. Like I would just pour straight Prosecco and maybe switch over to Chardonnay. That was, I was a white wine girl. And I would just sip on that throughout all of Sunday. Whereas I kind of felt like I had a steady buzz all the way throughout the day until it would just kind of like hit me. And I would definitely have to take a nap, take a nap for a couple hours and then wake up. And if the football games were still on and it wasn't too late, you know what? Pour another glass of wine. And that was kind of my Sundays. I would drink until either the bottles were gone or until I just kind of passed out or took a nap. Or if it was time to go to sleep, I would just call that pass out. Honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, I would drink to, and it wasn't like a sloppy drunk, but I definitely was buzzed. And eventually, like I said, I would have to just lay down and I just felt tired. So I would have to go to sleep. That was kind of my Sundays. Now, that always made it worse for Mondays because Mondays I would just feel so hungover from the weekend. And I wasn't just drinking on Sundays, but Sundays during football season it was a reason to start earlier. I had to have that reason. Oh, it's football, it's time to drink. And it just seemed like it made football more fun. But when I think about it, okay, well, let me finish telling my story and then I'll tell you what I do now to not drink alcohol on Sundays now. So as I'm thinking back on those days when there wasn't football, you know what? I would go to have brunch, mimosas, stop on the way home and or if I was with a friend, go to another bar because wherever I would go have mimosas at, it would sometimes lead to us going to another restaurant or bar. And I live in Southern California. So, of course, the beach atmosphere, it makes you just feel like, or maybe I programmed this in my brain, but made me feel like I wanted to drink more because of the atmosphere and bar hop. And yeah, we would definitely bar hop a lot at a certain time in my life on Sundays, all the way until the evening when it was just time to like crash. And then, of course, going to work the next day, it just made things worse. Like it just created so much chaos because sometimes I didn't get things that I really wanted to get done. I didn't get those done. Then I felt behind for the rest of the week. I felt behind at work. I felt groggy at work. I felt tired. I just couldn't wait for Mondays to be over so I could go home and have a glass of wine just to feel better. And usually my Mondays, I would have a glass of wine or two, but I was just so exhausted from the weekends that I would pretty much go to sleep early. That was kind of my Mondays. So Sundays just felt so fun to me. I call them Sunday Fundays. Every Sunday I looked forward to it because my mindset around Sunday was, oh, yes. It just I would just go all out on Sundays. Not so much on Fridays or Saturdays, but all out on Sundays, football season or not. It just seemed like my mindset was Sunday Funday. But how do I handle Sundays now? And at the time of this recording, I've not drank since November of 2020. And this is January of 2024. So I've had football seasons, of course, and many Sundays where I haven't drank. I mean, I literally have not had one sip of alcohol. Before I started this podcast, I hadn't really even thought about how long it had been. I had to even go back and look to see when I think I stopped drinking because I didn't mark it down or anything like that. I just woke up one day and said, I don't feel like drinking today. And the next day I just woke up and I said, I don't feel like drinking today. And the next day and the next day and the next day. And a lot of these tools that I'm teaching you and the mindfulness, I was doing this, I started adding this into my life. And all of a sudden, just one day, I woke up and I had done so much work on myself that one day I just woke up and I was like, yeah, I don't think I feel like drinking today. And I was on vacation during that time. And I know I keep saying I'm going to tell you my full story. I am going to tell you my full story because it's kind of a long one. I kind of want to go back and share a lot of things that you need to know so you kind of know how I got into the predicament that I was in. So we'll get to that. I promise. It's coming in the near future once dry January is over. But how do I handle Sundays now? Well, Sundays now, I honestly, I just okay, this is my secret for me and it's working for me, but I've been doing a lot of work on myself. So it might not work for you. But honestly, I just don't think about it. I think about how amazing the day is going to be. And I don't even say without alcohol. I just say today is amazing. And I do my mindfulness sessions practice, I call it. My mind, like, people call yoga their yoga practice. I do my mindfulness practice. And I shared one of those with you the last two episodes. So, episode 26 and episode 25. Please listen to those because we will be talking more about that. I don't think about it. I don't think about alcohol. So, what do I do instead? Honestly, I'm thinking about how amazing I feel and how amazing the day is going to be. I know that that just sounds so, as I'm saying it to you, it just sounds so fluffy, I guess is the word that I'm coming up with. But that's just how I'm thinking about the day. And I'm thinking about how amazing I feel and how nothing can steal my joy. My joy is there for the whole day, whether my team wins or loses. I mean, of course I'm going to be sad, but I don't feel the need to have this drink that actually creates more chaos and sadness and steals my joy. I just the thought of alcohol is not even existent in my mind. And I don't care what anybody thinks about me is the other thing. If we are out at a restaurant or a bar or at a party or friends or family, I don't care what anyone has to say about me not drinking. It doesn't faze me. And I want you all to be able to get to this place as well, where it just doesn't faze you. You don't care what anybody thinks about you or says about you because you won't drink alcohol. That's what I want for you all too. I want you all to be able to wake up and just think about not what you're missing out on from drinking the alcohol, but what you are gaining in your life because you are not drinking the alcohol. You're gaining all of this life enjoyment, life fulfillment, purpose, and passion and pleasure without the alcohol. How is that landing for you? I want you to think about this weekend all of the things that you're saying yes to just because you're saying no to the wine or the beer or the Jack Daniels or the whiskey or the margarita or the pina colada or whatever it is that you're saying no to. You're saying yes to so much more in your life. And that's what I focus on. That's why it's so easy for me to not even think about it. We can do this. You can get through this weekend. We have 5 days left. I know that you can do this. Don't throw in the towel. Keep going. Stay positive. Do your 1-1-10 mindfulness method tomorrow. It's what I taught you yesterday and the day before. I will see you all on tomorrow's episode. You can do this. I'll see you tomorrow for Sunday. Bye for now.